Welcome to BBA Prague. Today we are sitting down with Mr. Heřman Kopkáně, one of our most passionate lecturers who teaches financial insights for business leaders in the BBA program. If you've ever thought that finance was just about numbers and spreadsheets, prepare to think again. Today I'm so excited to speak with him about his course, his study journey, and how students can become confident future business leaders. Mr. Kopkáně, thank you so much for being here today. And let's start with the course and your teaching philosophy. And the first question for you is, you're teaching financial insights for business leaders at BBA. That's quite a distinctive name. Why was it named like that, and what makes it different from a standard finance course?
Okay, so it's actually an interesting story. We spent some time with AI to come up with a good name for this course. It's essentially an elementary accounting course with a little bit an extra flair to give extra insight to what finance can do for the managers in the companies. So this course is not for bookkeepers and accountants. It's really tailored for the people who want to run their own business or who want to become managers early in their careers.
Okay, why is finance important for managers?
The old cliche thing says that finance is the language of business, and I pretty much believe that it's true. You can tell as many stories as you want, but unless you can't understand it in numbers, it just does not work.
Do you have any specific crazy story with one of the companies that you know, or probably you worked with that company, that you understood the importance of finance?
This happens to me sometimes with marketing people who really like stories and who are maybe creative, but they sometimes are not really friends with the financial side of the stuff. So you can have a conversation about how good the commercial is, how good advertisement is, but then it might be a little bit difficult to translate it into impact in numbers. How much more revenues did you get out of that? How much more profit did you get out of that? It might have been a really nice campaign, really nice advertisement, but did it really bring new customers?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, because the first reason to run business is to make money. And it's important to be creative, but it's not so, it might be damaging if finances are just neglected in the company.
I would a little bit qualify that finance is the first thing. That's the first purpose of the companies. I think it's an important aspect, or maybe let's say it a little bit differently. Having profits means that you're doing something good in your business. So you are not doing business to make profit. You are doing if you're doing the business right, you will see the profits.
Yeah, I totally agree. What's the biggest misconception students have about finance before taking your course?
I think the biggest misconception is mathematics.
Really?
So many students are scared of mathematics from maybe their bad experiences in the past. And finance is just elementary counting most of the time. There is almost nothing that is too complicated. And I hear it from people, I'm more into other things than mathematics, so I won't like finance. And it often changes during the course of the study. So people who were very scared or very not confident about their mathematical skills, they actually turn out to like numbers, and it helps them to balance this stories and numbers aspect of business.
I see, but how do you make your students fall in love with finance? If, for example, you have that student who thinks that he's not cut out for numbers, and then he needs to study finance because it's an obligatory course here in the BBA program. How do you make classes more relevant and accessible for those students who want to become future business leaders but might not want to become CFOs, for example?
So first thing, I believe that if you really totally hate numbers and it's totally not your thing, probably the BBA program is not for you, and you would probably be better off doing something completely different. That's the first thing. Second, in the business, at the end of the day, you really need to mix everything. That's what good business people do. You understand, you can work with people, you can manage projects, you can manage processes, you can work with the customers, you understand your customers, and you are able to translate everything into numbers. And maybe not do everything by yourself. You might have accountants and CFOs who work for you, but you need to be able to understand it at the end of the day and base your decisions on the finances of the business.
Yeah, it's also crucial not to be tricked by accountants that you hire.
That's another story that we usually talk about in class. So yes, you're right.
Yeah. I really love your examples how to discover whether someone tricked you or not.
Yeah, and it's usually this is the interesting part of the course, right? Everybody likes. And I guess actually it even helps the understanding for students, right? When you start start talking about like how do people cheat and how the accountants can cheat on you, what happens if the cash is missing in your bank account, and how the taxation works and what tricks are people using to try to avoid taxes.
Yeah, they are amazing, and I really love that you illustrate it kind of in the class, and also that role play. It does help to understand finance more. Yeah.
I hope it does, and we have a lot of students who were running their own small businesses or who are helping with their family business. So it brings some flavor for everyone.
Thank you. And now let's discuss your journey to teaching. What were your favorite courses at university, and how did the acquired knowledge help you in your future career?
Okay, so it's a little bit longer story. I did bachelor's at another school, and then I went to Vaše for my master's. And at that time, there was a really passionate group of like younger teachers who were more into finance. And I was like, yeah, this is really it. I really like it. So I thought, okay, I finished my master's, maybe I'll stay for PhD as well. But my PhD journey was a little bit longer, and at the end of the day, I actually realized that I want to do more business, not academia. So I never finished my PhD. But one thing I really enjoyed was teaching. So after many years in business, I got an opportunity to come back to school and teach a course in corporate finance for our flagship SEMS program. So I gradually got some other courses as well, including the BBA course for financial insight. So that's the story. I really enjoyed teaching. I didn't really enjoy writing articles or doing some research, but I enjoyed teaching.
What makes teaching so special for you?
I think it's really interesting and rewarding to help younger people to learn how the business can be run and should be run. I always say that being a manager is actually a very responsible thing for the society, because in early age, like very early in your careers, you get in charge of a lot of money. You can get in charge of a lot of people, and we spend a lot of time of our days at work. And if you have a bad manager, it really ruins your life. So, if you become a better manager, it has a real impact on people's lives a lot. So
it brings that sense of self-fulfillment to you?
Yeah, sure. I think it's the case for many of the people who are here. You just like teaching, you think it brings something, the pay is not that great.
Yeah, to the community.
And the pay is not that great. Many of us would actually make better money elsewhere, but there is some sense of fulfillment coming from working with younger guys.
I read that you organized several workshops when you were a student at Vaše. How did that idea first come up, and what inspired you to take that initiative?
So I have like one particularly popular like workshop/seminar, and there's also a story. I'm teaching corporate finance for some students, and we talk a lot about the companies that listed companies and stocks, and how does this work in the context of corporate finance. And then the students had these questions like, okay, so how does this work, and what does it do? What does it do for my own portfolio, and how should I save the money for my retirement? And I was like, guys, we have corporate finance class. This is not personal finance class, but if you're interested, we can run it like after hours. And it kind of stuck. So I've been doing this for maybe 8 semesters now. And we are doing personal finance workshop for the students here with a smaller group, discussing
Wow.
what you can do for your personal finance.
Okay. Were there any projects or challenges during your student years that significantly shaped the way you teach today?
Okay, I mentioned it before. I think I was very lucky that I got to VŠE at the time when there was really like very nice group of like young, passionate teachers. One of them is our dean today, and they really brought like this more modern approach to everything, right? So, hey guys, you need to read the research articles, you need to read them in English, there are textbooks in English, there are some software tools that you need to learn. And that really hooked me up and definitely helped me to decide for my career in finance, or to push my career towards finance rather than some other ideas.
So it was the right community.
It was the right community and the right teachers.
Okay. What type of finance is the most interesting to you and why?
That's interesting. So I must say it, I like to teach corporate finance. I have quite a lot of experience from the industry, but only after coming back to school and teaching, I actually realized that this combination of theory and practice is super important. If you know everything just from practice, you can make a lot of mistakes. If you know everything from theory, it also does not work. So I think this combination of theory and practice is really helpful.
Okay. What financial skill do you think every business leader should have in 2025?
You definitely need to understand financial statements. You definitely need to understand how cash flow works. And you definitely should be able to project the cash flows forward, even for a couple months when you're running a business, having some 13-week rolling cash flow so you understand what's coming. But also for more strategic decisions like, hey, can you translate your business plan into finance? Can you translate it not only to P&L, but to balance sheet and cash flow as well? I think this is super important. And sadly, even people who are running fairly nice businesses don't really understand that. So I think that if you learn this at school, it can really help your career. And doesn't really matter whether you go for HR, marketing, management, project management, anything. It really helps if you are the manager who understands their subject matter plus finance.
What habits or mindsets distinguish great business leaders from average ones?
Oh, that's a tough one. Okay, I'll give you a sneaky answer. I think it's luck sometimes, and especially being like a little bit lucky at the beginning of your career to get a good first boss who helps you to use your potential.
Yeah.
And the second thing is to choose wisely what you want to do. I often speak with students and they are very concerned about their first job right after the graduation. And I have this story for this, that your first job is not that important. What's important is your second job. Because for the first job, nobody really knows what you want to do. But if you don't know what you want to do for your second job, it's a problem. So, if you can figure out what do you want to do, where do you want to go with your career after your, when you're on your first job and you're looking for this next opportunity, that's the important decision.
Do you have any advice how to figure out what you want?
Just look around, be open-minded, ask your friends, ask your colleagues, and you'll get it, right? You will see what sounds more interesting, what matches your skills, and where you can be successful. It will come.
Thank you. And the last question is, what was the most memorable or interesting experience from your study years that still influences you today?
Okay, so I'll be a little bit against finance, but one of the most interesting courses that I'm still cherish and remember the experience were soft skills courses in presentation and communication skills, and I think that influenced me most, despite teaching finance and thinking that finance is important. I had good teachers there for the soft skills courses, and it saved my ass many times.
Do you have any story when it came in handy?
Okay, I have a story. So we had a communication and presentation seminar here, and I learned a couple of tricks during that seminar. And then when I was applying for my first job, and I had the assessment center in Deloitte, I used those tricks during the assessment center, and I really aced it. It was really amazing because all the tricks that I've learned here actually worked in that group, and it was amazing.
Could you share those tricks? Some of them?
One of those tricks, and that worked really well for assessment center, was like to let the other people speak first, and then only after the group, there was a group activity, right? So many people actually are so eager, so they start talking, right, over everyone because they want to be the ones who talks the most to show off, right? So the trick that we discussed during that seminar, and then I used it, was, okay, let the other people talk, and only after everybody talks, you can actually say strategically, essentially the smartest thing or the most useful thing in that group. And it worked perfectly in that particular situation. But it's a very good tip even for the business settings, right? People want to show off, people want to show like how much leadership they have, and they think that the one who speaks the most and speaks the loudest is the leader, which rarely is true.
Okay, so listen more and speak less.
You can put it that way.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Kopkáně, for sharing your insights with us today. For everyone watching, if you're considering studying business in Prague, Vish's BBA program offers courses like this one that go beyond textbooks and prepare you for real leadership roles. But before we go, I've a quick fun quiz, just quick answers. First question is, what's the one mistake every finance beginner makes? Is it overcomplicating things or ignoring the details?
Not reading the textbook.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah, because like James videos and textbook is a bit boring, but really useful. Okay, if finance were a sport, which one would it be, chess or Formula One?
I will go for chess.
Okay, what's more challenging to teach? Students who don't ask questions or students who ask too many questions?
Students who ask too many questions.
Have you ever had such students?
Rarely, and that's because to ask a lot of questions in finance, people feel like a little bit intimidated. It's a technical discipline, so to ask a lot of questions, you actually need to know something about the subject, and people don't feel that confident to do that, right? So when you go to something where people are more confident, like marketing, for example, everybody thinks that they can contribute to the discussion because, hey, look, I see the things around. Right? With finance, it's a little bit different, right? And I know that there are some students who are super communicative, contributing a lot to strategy class, to marketing class, but they don't really contribute in the finance class, which is super interesting.
Audit or consulting?
Audit.
Okay, and cash flow or income statement?
Cash flow.
Your favorite financial joke?
I don't know anything.
Okay. Okay.
I only have sad stories. No jokes.
Okay.
You can use that one.
That's a wrap. Huge thanks to Mr. Heřman Kopkáně for giving us a glimpse into what makes studying finance at BBA so special. If you want to be part of this inspiring community, check out the BBA program, link in the description, and see you in the next episodes. Bye-bye.